All right, it has been 1 year. So I said we were gonna do a review. Let's go take a look at the floor and see how it's held up. As usual, the shop is a huge mess. I just finished up the top project. We went jeeping and now I'm back home. So this is pretty standard mess for me. Lots of little pieces of metal on the floor, junk rolling around, equipment out. It is completely trashed. So before we do the review, I just wanted you to see that it is a used floor. So before we do the review, we need to clean the floor. So I've seen a couple guys on YouTube and they've done this and it seems like it's pretty slick, so let's see. All right, that did not work. One more time. Okay, now I'm in the wrong garage. Just a minute. Okay, I'm obviously doing something wrong here. Well, I guess at least we're back in the right place. So I'm gonna get cleaning and then I'll show you the floor. Okay, so this is right under my vise, and maybe you can see, maybe you can't. Let me get you in just a little closer. Hopefully you can see. There's like little specks of rust kind of in all of that. So that's just from little pieces of metal when I'm shaving, or drilling, excuse me. So I'm gonna try to clean it up. Just use a little bit of degreaser. We'll see how it cleans up. As always, I'm just using that cheap Awesome. It seems to work okay. If you look super close, you can still see small specks. So there's the difference. You can see where I cleaned and where I haven't cleaned. So it seems to clean up pretty good. Here is the floor 1 year later. I'll just give you a quick little walk around of the shop. There's a lot of light coming in from the windows, so I apologize. It'll be a little bit hard maybe to see some of those areas. Here is a heavy traffic area, and you probably can't see it real good. There you go. Maybe you can see it's got a little bit of discoloration, but I honestly think if I scrubbed a little bit harder with some cleaner that would clean up. Where my lift is, you know, I've had a lot of different things on the lift. Brake fluid, tranny fluid, antifreeze, you name it, all over. I do try to put cardboard down to, you know, keep the mess from getting too bad, but again, there's nothing that stuck really, really bad. I did do the heavy chips, as you guys might remember when I was doing the video, and so the heavy chips do hide a lot of stuff. I don't heat my shop all the time, so it gets cold out here. In fact, here on the concrete, maybe you can see where my two slabs came together. I do have a little crack right there. There's the real crack. I had put some stuff in there to kind of fill that. So, you know, the floor has moved that little bit. The little cracks, if you remember from the video, you cannot see them at all. But none of the floor has lifted, which is fantastic. None of it has flaked off. I'll show you what that looks like. So here you can see, that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about flaking off. That's what I was nervous would happen. This was not cleaned super good. It was steam cleaned, but I don't know how much degreaser was used or acid etch. So over on this section, it all stayed down pretty good. This area here, it's flaking off. Now this right here is the exact same stuff that I have in my shop. I had a little bit of extra and we had a piece that we hadn't painted yet. So I just brought it over and we real quick painted it. This has had all kinds of stuff on it. Now you can see it doesn't have the clear coat and it doesn't have the chips, but it has had I-beams slid in, pallets, skids, snowmobiles, all kinds of different stuff pushed across this section of floor, and it has stuck. It has not peeled up at all, but it does have some heavy scratches, but the scratches I can live with. To me, this is not a good result. So Pretty happy with the stuff that I have in my shop in comparison to this stuff, which is this. That floor was at work, and the prep may not have been great. I'm gonna go ahead and show you some of the spots that are bad. So here, if you remember in my first video, that was the spot where I missed with the clear coat. So you can see that it is definitely discolored just a little bit in that area. Okay, this is right near my door, and you can see there's some pretty heavy scratches. I don't remember exactly what I was doing that made those, but it's pretty heavy into the clear coat. You want to wipe across that once? Oh, look at that. So you can see when you get it a little clean, it does hide a lot of those scratches. So right here, get in there real close. So that's a little bit of grease and grime, and when you scrub it just a little bit, you can get it off. The heavy chips create a little bit of anti-skid. You can maybe see almost like the texturing from the chips. And so the floor is not slippery, even when it's real wet. Problems with the floor, and it's not an actual problem with the flooring, but with the chips, like I said, it hides a lot. It hides the paint. If you get a little paint dripped, which I've got some green over here, you kind of got to look for it. I think there's some black over here. There's a couple spots. You really got to look for that. But the other thing you really got to look for is if you drop a small nut or bolt or little items, they are harder to find on this floor because everything kind of blends into the flooring. Okay, so if you got any questions, put them down in the comments. If you want to see something more, again, throw it in the comments. I'll try to make sure that I do that. So would I do this floor again? With the help of my wife, I sure would, because it was a lot of work. So make sure you got somebody to help you with it. But it is worth it. It does clean up nice, and as you've seen, I have a lot of different things that come in on the floor, and it still looks really good. Thanks for watching. Come back again. So this was all part of prepping for this video and just cleaning my shop in general.